Hello, everyone. I have some very good news on clinical trials. But first, let me explain why my background is so different and why the sound may be different. So, I came into the office a week ago to record a video for you all. And when I opened my office door, I saw that the ceiling had collapsed on all my work equipment and my video recording equipment, and water was everywhere. So, I did not get to record. There's been crews working on repairing the damage all week, and I've recovered enough to do a basic video. So here we are. By the way, I'm moving into a brand new building in a couple of months anyway, so the background is going to change again pretty soon in any case. But that's not the topic for today. The topic for today is the new clinical trial for myalgic encephalomyelitis chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME/CFS. And this is testing low-dose naltrexone, or LDN. Now, this trial is funded by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and specifically by NINDS, which is the part of NIH that covers neurological diseases and stroke. I am the principal investigator. My three main responsibilities are: one, get the study done safely; two, get it done in a scientifically valid way so we get a clear answer; and three, get the study done quickly. Now, those of you who have followed my videos for a long time, you know that my main research area is detecting and training or treating inflammation in the brain. And I've been interested in LDN for a very long time. It's the LDN is one of the few compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier and push microglia from an inflammatory state to a normal state. And that stops the microglia from producing all these harmful inflammatory chemicals in the brain that can cause pain and fatigue and mood issues and cognitive problems. Now, this is a remote trial, so we're going to be recruiting from across the United States. I do this for a variety of reasons, but mainly because it allows individuals to participate even if they're restricted to their house or even if they're restricted to their bed. This is not my first remote trial. My team actually completed a large 300-person trial last week. And here, I think I've shown this before, but here's where the participants were located. The remote aspect went very well, though clearly the eastern half of the United States was more heavily represented. So I'll look at getting better Western US representation in this new LDN trial. So I'm very excited to begin running this trial. I did the original studies of LDN in fibromyalgia, and at that time there were really just two scientists looking at LDN and inflammation. I was doing fibromyalgia, and my colleague Dr. Jill Smith was looking at it in Crohn's disease, which is a peripheral inflammatory disorder. Now there are many groups studying LDN. There's the LIFT trial, which is looking at LDN with and without pyridostigmine. And that one's being run by the Open Medicine Foundation and Dr. David Systrom at BWH. And there's also trials going on in long COVID by the Recover TLC initiative, which is the federal government. And I just heard that a Canadian group has finished or is about to finish a trial of LDN in long COVID patients who present with ME/CFS symptoms. And they presented their results at the May 2026 International ME/CFS Conference, which was in Berlin. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch that talk, and I haven't seen the results. I did see one screenshot that was showing placebo versus LDN. I do have some thoughts about how to interpret those results, but I'm going to hold off on those comments because it's not wise to interpret things based on a single snapshot without context. And so I'm very eager to see the full report of that study. But the bottom line is there are now several independent tests of LDN. So we're going to know for certain whether or not LDN is a useful therapeutic tool. And we're going to know that scientifically, not just kind of guessing and just kind of random reports. And that is exactly what this field needs right now. They need an increased emphasis on clinical trials that are run by several groups. Now, I can't give too many details about my protocol, or it could ruin the blinding, which is an essential part of a well-controlled trial. What I can tell you is that there are two stages to the 5-year project. The first is called dose finding, and that's where we make small changes up and down to the dose and we can assess the response. That takes the first 2 years and will involve about 100 people. And then there's the 3-year classic parallel group randomized control trial. And while some people will receive LDN and others will receive placebo, and it will involve about 200 people. So at its heart, it's a pretty straightforward clinical trial. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I implement features that can increase the sensitivity and the ultimate impact of the study. And sometimes those little tweaks can make the difference between a successful study and a failed one. Now, some of those features I can't disclose, but some of them I can. Just for example, I'm going to run a subgroup of participants who will come into my institute and undergo brain scanning so we can see if those people who respond to LDN are responding because their brain inflammation is being reduced. So we know the mechanism that the drug is working. So that's helpful to have. Now, some people ask why we run clinical trials on treatments that are already available off-label. Low-dose naltrexone has been available off-label for a long time, for many years. I mean, tens of years. So the reason that we're still doing trials on LDN is because even though many people have tried LDN for different chronic conditions, we don't know if people have tried the optimal dose. We don't know if they've tried it for the best condition. We don't know if they used it over the optimal length of time. And those little pieces of information are very important to whether something works or not. And it really has to be studied scientifically to know the answers to those questions. So clinical trials allow us to systematically determine when the medication works and for whom it works. So I just wanted to let you know the study will be starting quite soon, probably September 2026. I'm hiring team members now and setting things up. There's nothing for you to do right now. It's not started yet, and not right now in the end of June. I will mention on this channel when I start recruiting. I'll run people closer to my institution to start, and then I'll expand to the entire US as we go along. I just want to say I'm really grateful to the NIH for the financial support to finally run the study. I've been trying to run a large low-dose naltrexone study for a very, very long time. It's been difficult getting the money, so I'm very happy to finally have that funding to do this. Also, of course, this is taxpayer money, and so in turn, I'm indebted to everyone. So thank you all. To all of those who are going to be participants, I thank you in advance. And all I can say is I realize that people need ME/CFS treatments right now. And so I'm pushing to get this trial done as quickly as I can while still being safe and scientifically valid. Last point, it's extremely unlikely that one medication will work for everyone. So we need many clinical trials happening in parallel. And fortunately, that is starting to take shape across the world. The pace of research has picked up significantly. So I have many other new clinical trials and studies to share with you. So definitely keep an eye on this channel, and I'll be giving updates probably every 2 weeks. And there is a lot to catch up on. So that's all for now. Bye, everyone.